Global warming is one of the phenomena that most worries scientists. One of the dangers of global warming is the rise in temperatures and consequently the melting of the ice at the poles. If this story actually happened in the ocean water, its quantities will increase greatly. We expect a scenario opposite to this. I wonder what could happen if all the oceans are dead and dried up. Will the situation get better or worse? If we start with the events that will not be dangerous due to the drought, the water in the oceans will first change the terrain map on the Earth because new mountains, plains, and valleys will appear that were buried under the water. The ocean floors are exactly like the land, with different terrains spread across them, but as we said, they are hidden under the surface of the water. In fact, there are elevations and mountain ranges at the ocean floors that are larger than who is on and also the land, and you have Mount Mauna Kea, which is located near the island of Hawaii. Its height from base to summit is 10,200 meters, which means it is higher than Mount Everest itself. Now let's get into the serious stuff and talk about the dangerous phenomena that could happen. We will find that the simplest and first thing that could happen is the crushing crisis in the labor market. It provides a livelihood for less than 3 billion people on Earth, which means that more than 40% of the world's population will be affected. The ocean, for example, provides tourism jobs on the beaches of the whole world and provides the manufacture of ships, boats, and maritime transport, in addition, of course, to the fish market and marine creatures as well. The effects that will be compounded by the drying up of the oceans are the lack of oxygen. Ocean waters constitute about 97% of the water present on the face of the Earth, and this water is inhabited by countless creatures that help produce the oxygen that we breathe. Contrary to what many people know, plankton produce it on its own. More than 50% of the total oxygen in the atmosphere is considered ocean water, and its currents are primarily responsible for the distribution of temperature on the surface of the Earth. If all the oceans dried up, two phenomena would occur one after the other, which are largely contradictory. The first is the scarcity of water before it disappears immediately. In this case, airplanes in the ocean will not be able to distribute temperatures on the Earth as it used to do, and as a result there will be atmospheric instability and rapid fluctuations between extreme heat and bitter cold. But once the ocean water dries up completely, drought will spread over the entire Earth, and we will enter a new ice age that is more severe than any other age. Old ice, and the reason for this is that the water in the oceans is what absorbs the sun's rays and then distributes them. But if this water dries up, the sun's rays that fall on the Earth will not find anything to absorb them, and thus they will all be exchanged in space, and frost will spread over the face of the Earth after the air is affected by the drying of the oceans. We will come to the second element. In life, he is the best what we drink, and on which all living organisms depend. It is known that water evaporates from bodies of water, and then condenses and falls again in the form of rain. And the rain itself forms rivers that flow into the oceans, and the cycle continues as long as its elements are present. But when the oceans dry up, and only a small amount of water remains from the water of rivers and lakes, the mother will fly away greatly, and it will not be long before all the rest of the water disappears. There is no doubt, of course, that as soon as the water becomes scarce and we barely have enough to drink, the first thing that will pay the price is the animals and plants. In this case, take it with you, extinctions that you will not eat will happen every day. In addition to the extinctions that will happen on land, there will be massive extinctions in marine life. With the many extinctions that will happen, may God help us in the famines that will happen everywhere. The only thing that will help us a little to resist famine are the huge marine creatures that we will collect and store when the ocean water dries up, and which with the right freezing could suffice the world for 10 years in this difficult time that resembles the movies of the end of the world. The few human groups that are still alive and are squeezing supplies and heating sources will enter a state of shock when she discovers that she will not be able to enjoy the few things she has saved. With the loss of all the creatures that help us produce oxygen, the whole world will begin to suffer from a lack of oxygen and difficulty breathing. And with it, the end of life on Earth will be written. But that's it. Who got this far? All that got there is you, the best people. Do it. Let us like before you leave, so we can know how many of you made it to the end. Don't forget that if you have a question in the middle of the night that confuses you, write it to us in the comments under the video so we can answer it.